Hi there, it's Natasha and thank you so much for joining me again today. Today's card is a really super simple but fun and effective looking card. This is a stamp set from Alina Crafts off AliExpress, and I'm just going to use that top stamp there from this set, and I'm going to start off by getting out this little stamping platform. Now this is one that I purchased from Lincraft. I'm in New Zealand. I know that these are also available in Australia as well because I have some friends who have them. But I've just popped that top stamp right there at the very top of this. I'm using some black cardstock, and I'm just using my little embossing buddy to make sure that there is no embossing powder going to go in places that I don't want it to go. I'm using some VersaMark ink, which is just a sticky embossing ink, and then I am turning around my little black panel before I put any embossing powder on, and I'm going to stamp it again so it creates a pattern both ways along the top. Doesn't matter too much if they don't exactly meet up in the middle perfectly because I'm going to be covering that bit later on, but this did work out pretty good. So this is going to be covered with some metallic gold embossing powder, and I'm just covering it there and shaking off any excess powder. I can see that I got a pretty good stamped image, and I tend to get that when I use my VersaMark embossing ink. I have used quite a few inks over my years of card making, and unfortunately, even though it is one of the pricier ones, I have definitely found it to be the best. So that's the one that I use at the moment. That doesn't mean that that's the one that you have to use. If you've got something that works really well for you, that's great. I'm going to stamp the sentiment here, which says happy retirement. I needed someone close to me was retiring, so I needed to get a little card sorted to go with their gift, and I'm doing exactly the same thing, just embossing it with the VersaMark, and then I'm going to put on the exact same gold powder that I used before. It is really good in card making to have a theme kind of carried on and the same colors carried on throughout, and that way it ends up looking really cohesive when it's all finished. So I am just melting this with my heat gun, and then I'm going to trim it up a little bit using my fiskars trimmer. This just makes it nice and neat. It's always kind of good to start with a larger piece and then you can cut it down so that it looks exactly how you need it to. I have this embossing folder here, and this is the main fun part of my card. I love embossing vellum. So I have some nice heavyweight vellum here, and I'm going to run this through my die cutting machine, and I really love the look of this. I've been using it a lot recently, and I really have enjoyed the outcome of what you get. It always looks good no matter what embossing folder you use. So I have got my 4 1/4 by 5.5 inch card base, and then I have cut down this little black layering piece of paper here so that just the sides are showing. So it is still 5.5 tall, but it's about 4 inches wide. And then again with the vellum piece, I'm going to put some liquid glue only in the middle part there. And this is exactly the reason why adhesives show through vellum. And this is why, as card makers, it is one of those battles that is kind of a lifelong battle that you have around hiding adhesives behind other bits and pieces when you're using vellum. I know there are some great vellum glues out there and things. There are lots of different ideas of how to get around it, but this one does give you a really good picture of what happens when you use liquid adhesive behind vellum. You can see it there on the bottom left-hand corner. I've just got a piece of black fun foam here, and I'm putting double-sided tape on both sides of it, and then I'm going to peel off one side and put it on the back of that decoration that we heat embossed. I'm adding a little bit of liquid glue just to make sure it's super nice and strong and basically never going to come off. Then I am taking the adhesive off the other side. This double-sided adhesive is from Alina Crafts as well on Ali, and it is a really strong double-sided adhesive. I really, really like it. I'm just going to put that straight in the middle, and then my little sentiment I am also going to back on a piece of plain vellum. This plays into what I said about having reoccurring themes, so I'm going to use the vellum throughout, and as I have with the gold embossing as well. Add another strip of double-sided adhesive, and again you want to avoid those vellum parts because it will show through, and this will go straight through the center of the card. This is a very, very quick, simple, easy card to put together. You can't go wrong, and you can definitely have a look through your stamp sets and things and your embossing folders and see what would work for you and make this card your own. I'm adding a few little gold enamel dots. Again, I got these off Ali, and they really surprisingly go nicely with the gold embossing powder because, as I said, you want to have the same colors throughout, so I'm going to pop a few of these on, and that will finish off my card for today. I hope that you found this useful, and I hope that you give embossing vellum a go because it has beautiful results. Let me know in the comment section down below if this is one of your go-to techniques. Thank you so much for watching today. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Let me know by giving it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you in the next video. Thanks, bye.